We on, we on, we on, we on, we
We
on.
live.
Dang, it's been a minute since I had you on here.
Man, listen, I've missed it. I've missed it. It's like we would have the show and I would actually be like available to like get on, but I would be on a plane. Like
Yeah.
literally. I'd be like, dang. But I'm back. I'm back. I'm glad to be back home.
Good. Welcome back home. Welcome back home. So, hey, everybody. Hits and Heels is back on. We are live and popping. Our co host is back. She's been busy bee these last couple of weeks, and we have missed her. So, since I've been doing all the talking for the last couple of days, we are getting ready to get caught up and let her
Yes.
catch us up with everything that's been going on with her. Let's go, Danny.
Ah man, so life has been busy. It's been great though. I'm trying to see if we live on Facebook.
Oh, I didn't even check.
Do you see us? Um, are we live? We're not live. Hold on, y'all.
Oh, really?
Hold on. Uh-oh. Broadcast info. It says that we are.
Yep, it's live. It's on
It's
Facebook.
live. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I see it now. You know how when you go live, you can usually see the circle around your profile picture.
Oh, I didn't know that either. I didn't know that.
Hmm. Yep. Okay. Sorry,
Okay.
y'all. You know, I gotta make sure we live. I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure. I gotta go and share it. um. So hold on, y'all. Let me share. Let me share. I'm gonna say I'm back. um. All right. You know we gotta get the word out. Um. So what has been going on with me? Wow. Where do I start? First of all, we had I think this all started with like our basket right around basketball championship time, and things were just like crazy. Um, it was so busy. um, but the basketball championship was phenomenal. It was, I was tired. I was so tired, but it was so great. We had such a great time. Um, we got a lot of positive feedback. And for those of you that don't know, I work for the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference, and I'm the director of strategic communications, which means that what we
She's the
put
boss.
out in
She's a HNIC.
that's not me, that's my boss. That's the commissioner. I am not the commissioner. But so my responsibilities include obviously what most people think about when they think about communication is writing. So writing press releases, getting our newsletter out on a weekly basis now. Um, that's part that like when I first started, just trying to get used to everything. And so we're working to get that out on a weekly basis now, but also updating the website, leading efforts for our social media, and coming up with our broadcast plan and campaigns. We are on an app called HBCU League Pass Plus, um, which is, let me see if I can pull it up and show y'all. So the app is really dope. It allows us to broadcast shows live, and this is what it looks like. So I don't know if y'all can see that.
We can.
All right. And so we have a channel on here, channel number 2, second from the top, GCAC. All right. And so you will see our content on this app, HBCU League Pass Plus.
That's good stuff.
And so it's really exciting. You know, I laugh because as much as I told Terry she needed to be doing this stuff live, like she needed to have her own show, you know, her own podcast, and then it turned out that, you know, we need to have our podcast together. It turned into this, a live show. And so now that I'm with the GCAC, you know, I thought, oh, you know, we've got, you know, I have a really, really, really dope digital marketing specialist, and she does sideline reporting. We need to get her on the show too. Alex D. Williams, we coming for you. You need to be a guest on the show. And she's like a superstar. Like, I love her to death. And so I've been really trying to push her out there. And then, but there are times where she couldn't be available. And I'm like, we really need to get this episode up. And so the last few have been me on camera. And I'm like, you know what? I got this podcast, this other sports show that I do on a weekly basis. That's enough camera time for me. Like, I don't need to be on camera. Just I like being behind the scenes, you know, but that's not how it's worked out. So you know, it's causing me to grow as well.
It always does.
It's forcing me to really think outside of the box, but also make sure that I am that I'm okay with I don't want to say not being the face of the conference, because that ain't it. But making sure that I can not just be the creative, you know, the think piece behind it, but also coaching and helping them see how to do the interviews. We have interns that are also interested in it. And so sometimes the best way to train people and to show people how to do things is to show them, you know. So I'm learning a lot. It's been great for us. We're pushing out so much content right now. And so our men's and women's basketball championship tournament, we clipped the 1 million view mark.
Oh, that's good stuff.
For the championship.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. Very exciting. And, you know, we've seen a lot of growth in our social media as well. So, I mean, but then there's the travel piece where, you know, we're showing up 2-3 days before each championship, leaving 1 or 2 days afterward. And it's busy. It's busy. It's a lot of work. We have a small staff, but we really do work so well together. And so I spoke with one of the men's basketball coaches today. We just had 4 student athletes that were named NAIA All-American.
Oh, that's good stuff.
The All-American teams, yeah. And so that's been really exciting. You know, being able to push that out tomorrow. We'll push out the full release on them. But, you know, just hearing from the coaches that they love what's going on in the conference. And I think hearing that, because those are who we serve, right? We serve the student athletes and the coaches. And so when they're happy.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it makes the job not even seem like a job. You know what I'm saying? And so when I think about it and think about the opportunities that have been presented. And I tell my boss this all the time. I'm just, I I have so much gratitude for her, and I've learned so much in just the last, it's only been 5 months, but I've learned so much and been able to grow so much. And I just feel like, God, like, you really did this for me? Like, I mean, he really did hook it up. I had lunch with one of my girlfriends today, and she was like, yeah, like, God really,
He really showed
did
up and
that.
showed out.
Yeah. And so I think about that, and I think that gives me more energy. And I feel like I have a much deeper level of responsibility
Ooh.
to not just go to work and show up, but to really, like, put in a high and deep level of effort and creativity and all of that, because, like, our unit, this branch of the conference, is the storytelling branch, right? And so to be able to tell all the stories from our campuses is a great responsibility. But like I said, we have a great team. We have interns, and like I said, our digital marketing coordinator is amazing. And so, teamwork, like, literally makes the dream work.
Absolutely.
And so it's a blessing to be in this position. It's a blessing to have this responsibility, and it's a great responsibility. But I know that it's only up from here. There's no failure here. We can only there's only success. And so I'm grateful to be a part of what Commissioner Barnes is building.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. No, I mean, I don't know how because she's got like a whole mentorship program that she does. And so I don't know how she does everything as a commissioner and then does her whole mentorship program on top of being a commissioner. I'm like, dang, girl, how you? And don't she got a husband and kids at the house too? I'm like, girl,
And we still need to get her on, because I said the same thing to her. There was a point where we came back from one place, and then literally in less than 12 hours, she was on the plane to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And but she said something. Oh no, I said, I see why you and your husband travel together.
Because
And
when else is he gonna see her? Because if he's
she literally
anything like
said,
that, when I got, ooh, Lord, I'll just be
yeah,
gone all day. And he's like, well, I ain't seen you all day. I'm thinking like, so and
but no, there was that point where I said, I see why y'all travel together. It was because at that point, had they not traveled together, had he not gone to the basketball championship, and then she not got on the plane to go with him to his work
right.
responsibilities, I think there would have been like a 2 or 3 week gap where they would not have seen each other at all. And so, and even listening to her talk about balancing, at one point she was also the athletic director at Dillard. At the same time, she was commissioner of the conference.
Right. They was dead wrong for that.
And it was like,
that's a lot of work.
It is. And so she was pushing to make changes at Dillard. I mean, she had been there at that point for 15 or 16 years. And so she was named full-time commissioner after 17 years at Dillard. But just to think about the bandwidth that you have to have, and the organization and the creativity, but also like just being a good manager,
to be able to manage all of that
exactly
efficiently.
Yes.
Because something's always going to fall through the cracks, right? And I know for me, I have to, luckily there's a place called Lean Feast. And now that's where I go buy my meal prep, because I don't even have time to freaking meal prep. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely don't have time to cook and be able to eat healthy with our schedules maintained.
Right.
So, and then, I have to hire a housekeeper at least once a month to come through this house because I just don't have the time
Yeah.
to do the work. And then did I tell you I was back to coaching track?
Yes. I knew it was coming. Like with the last time we like really talked about it, you were kind of on the fence, and I was like, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know why she's on the fence because I know she's going back to it. I knew it.
Right.
I knew you were gonna go back.
So I'm supposed to have football practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I have I do track on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday I go to Louisville
Mm-hmm.
for football practice, and then Saturdays we have practice. So Fridays is usually my like off night, right? So I talked to the coach today and I was like, is there any chance that we can change the Tuesday night to Friday so that way I can do Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Um, and then he comes up from Nashville on Thursday. He spends the night and then he stays. I'm thinking, but that'll benefit you too because you're not able to come up on Tuesday for practice either. So how about we probably getting ready to switch that? So I'm going to do track Monday through Thursday, and I'm going to have football Friday, Saturday, and Sundays is getting ready to be boring because there's no football and March Madness is almost over because once it's over, TV, there's nothing on TV that's boring, right? And so Sundays will
Exactly.
be, so
Exactly.
Sundays is my day where I look at my calendar, I look to see what all I got pressing for that week and and all that stuff. So like I'm taking off this Friday. They're letting us off Friday. And I was so mad because I was hoping they would have had spring practice on Friday so I can go to Kentucky to the spring practice, but they don't have that. But I think they might have it at Kentucky State on Friday. And
Okay.
I have to go relook at the schedule for Kentucky State. So just lots of stuff going on. So I have to join her mentorship or whatever she's got going on. So I've been following her on Twitter and on IG, and she's killing it. She is absolutely killing it. We're talking about Dr. Kiki Barnes,
Yep. Kiki
and
Beck Barnes.
she is absolutely freaking killing it, right? And she's the only African American female commissioner. Period, right?
No, in the
Or
NA,
is it
in
just
the NAIA, because the CIAA has a black female commissioner,
okay?
Jackie McWilliams, and then
Okay,
the MEAC has a
as a
black female
okay, gotcha,
commissioner,
Okay,
Sonia Stills. Yep,
okay. So we got 3.
yep, we have 3. Yep. So, and it's really cool because 3 of the 5 HBCU conferences
Are
are
held by
led by black
black
women.
women.
And so I think that's something that's really special. I remember growing up, always being involved in sports. And then when I got to college and I got into athletic communications, there weren't a lot of black women in
The leadership.
athletic communication. Yeah. But I felt like all the ones that I knew about, I knew, which was
Mm-hmm.
amazing to me. I got to see people like, my first boss as a student assistant was Patricia Porter Mayfield. And she was like, I mean, she showed me how to um, operate in a space in the sports space, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not lose your femininity. And for
Oh my
me,
God.
that
That
was
is
really
like
important for
so
me.
freaking important to me.
Yeah, because the examples that I had before, I hated the stereotype that if you were a woman in sports, then you had to be homosexual. And I'm not judging anyone's lifestyle, but that wasn't my lifestyle. And so to find the space where there was someone that had she was just very confident in that. But she was also like, I'm gonna walk into this room filled with men, right?
And own
And
it.
I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna own my space. I'm gonna own the conversation, and I'm going to listen to you to a certain extent. But at the point where you start to demean me or try to downplay my intelligence or my ability to operate in sports because you think that only men can come into this space and own it, let me show you something else, you know. But then I also watched her always the way she dressed, right, and how she showed up, how she carried herself. It was so important for me to see at an early age in the industry.
Love it.
And then I had, 3 years later, I was meeting Monique Smith.
Yes.
And she was the same way.
Yeah.
And then I was working with Shara White. And these are all powerful Black women in the sports space who continue to teach me how to own my space, own my identity, and be confident and comfortable in that, and not back off or anything, but still be, like, I don't have to, just because I'm in athletics doesn't mean that I have to walk around every day in a sweatsuit.
I mean,
right?
And I love wearing my jersey. I love wearing my baseball caps and stuff, but I love having my face done and my nails done. And, I love still maintaining my level of femininity.
Absolutely. And so, and now it's funny because, Dr. Barnes and I were talking, I think this was during the basketball tournament. And, or was it basketball? No, it was before basketball. I'm getting all my travel confused. But I think it was during one of our site visits for basketball. And we were talking about our attire. And I was laughing because we had run out real quick, and we were talking about finding shoes. And I was saying, I can't go to like Macy's or Dillard's and just let me go get a pair of pumps, or, a pair of heels, or, even a pair of like nice looking dress flats. Nope. That's not going to happen with me because my feet are about 2 inches long, right? So I always have to go to a specialty store to purchase my shoes. Mm-hmm. And if I want sneakers, I've got to go to the kids section because my foot is like literally the size of like, I don't even know, like a travel size bottle of lotion. Like that's my foot size. And so we started talking, and I said, I like getting dressed up. I like going to work dressed up. I don't want to wear khakis and a polo.
And a polo shirt, yeah.
Just because I am in athletic communications. Like, I hate that attire. I feel like Jake from State Farm when I have to dress like that. And I don't want to feel like Jake from State Farm. I want to feel like Olivia Pope.
Right.
I want to, you know what I'm saying? Which is funny because that's what she calls me now. She calls me her Olivia
Pope.
So we have that ongoing joke that, I'm Olivia Pope. Like, give it to me. It's handled. Like, I got it. But we talked about how we are both in a different space now, where it's like we have to dress differently, and it's not a bad thing, but you never know who you're going to meet. You never know when you're going to be pulled to the side for an interview or anything like that. So you always have to be ready.
Yeah.
And so, when I'm working and when I go to these events, when we have an event or we have a meeting or something like that, I'm not going in jeans. I'm not putting on jeans to go to these these championships. I mean, no, baseball will obviously be different because you outside in the dirt, but you know what I'm saying? It's different, and I want it to be different, and I want to maintain a high work ethic and a high level of confidence, but also I love being a woman, and I love the like having you feeling feminine. It, that's me. That might not be the next person, but for me, I'm gonna find some heels to put on. I just started wearing heels again, so now I think I have a little something going on. Um, but um, I like the feel, and I like that I can still. It feels weird saying this, but I like that I can run the show, and I don't have to be. Um, there's no arrogance, or there's no um, cockiness or anything like that. There's just the confidence knowing that I'm in a different space now, I have a different position, and there are different responsibilities, but I love what I do. And I get to not just own that in how I work, but I get to own that in how I carry myself and how I dress as well. And so um, I love it. I love it. I had me championship Sunday for basketball. I had me this blue jumper on with my leather pumps. I thought, like, not my leather. I said leather. I meant leopard. I had on some leopard heels, honey.
Leopard, okay.
Leopard, or cheetah print, leopard print, whatever animal it is. Look, and I, like I said, it feels good. It feels good to be still be in that space. And I learned that from my mentors like Patricia, Christine Kelly, Shara White, Monique Smith. They all taught me that. And they taught me not by sitting me down and talking to me about it, but they taught me by showing. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's definitely nice to be in a space like that, to where you have great mentorship from women like that. I think sometimes we as Black women, we're always challenged with the jealousy, or I'm only going to give you so much information because I don't want you to become better than me type of thing.
Listen,
gatekeeping, or yes, absolutely, yes,
gatekeeping information that ain't even really yours.
Yes, right, exactly. Because they don't want you to just take the baton and just run with it, and then end up being better than being better than them, or they're intimidated by you because they see the greatness in you, and so they try to hold you back. Yep. and I've witnessed those. I mean, I've experienced all of those, and it is just dreadful. I think I was talking about even on my football team that we got like 50 something players, right? I have yet, and how long have we been practicing? For months. Have yet to come across a situation like that where somebody's hating on somebody, or there's drama, or because normally when you're amongst a lot of women, it always tends to come out. And so just being around people that just have the same like-mindedness and want the same thing is just so refreshing. But to have leadership like you got,
listen,
honey,
I'm super blessed.
Yes.
And I think in knowing,
I can't wait to meet her in person.
Yeah, definitely. I think just in knowing that, I think when you have a good leader, it causes you to become a good leader, right?
It absolutely does. Yes.
Good leadership produces good leaders. And I feel like in these 5 months, I have definitely grown as a leader a few years ago, I would not have been able to manage 11 interns, partnering with administrative assistants and another digital marketing assistant and like I just it and it's a lot to manage, and I'm still learning how to delegate. She's helping me with that a lot. And we also have a COO that helps me delegate better, because I do have a tendency to be like, oh yeah, I can do that, and I can do this, and let's do this, and let's do that. And it's funny because Dr. Barnes has always said, I think it was something for basketball, and we were eating together, and she said, it's funny looking at me operate because that's how she is. And so now she's like, I'm watching myself operate, and I'm like, oh, that's how I am. But again, the blessing is working with someone that knows you, because their personality and their work ethic is so similar to yours, right? And so having someone that operates a lot like me is helping me, because she's able to but she's able to, like, she'll reel me in on things, or she'll share something with me because she knows it's coming.
Right.
So, it really is a blessing. But let's talk about these Derby City jerseys that you got on, because they are smoking hot.
You can't tell me nothing about my little
Listen, look at that.
Listen, with Coach Terry Bryant on the back.
Yeah.
And then she got us bags. Oh my God. Oh, do you see? I got hats.
We got the hat on, the full fit.
And then I got like another. I think I wore it last Wednesday. I got another little shirt or pullover. It comes with some shorts, and the owner hooked me up. I was so shocked when she's like, "Oh, look what we got." I was like, "This is mine."
I love it. I love it
too. I love it too. So this Saturday we have we got a scrimmage. I ain't gonna say where it's at because we ain't supposed to put it out there. So we got a scrimmage this weekend. We got 2 teams coming up. I forgot who they are. We got 2 teams coming up, so it's like a joint practice type of thing. And then we have our which is gonna be out of my comfort zone. Again, we're talking about the lifestyle because I'm not in that lifestyle, but they have their annual fundraiser, and it's something with drag, right? And so so I guess all of the players will perform or whatever like that. And I don't know if they're in drag or not. I have no idea, right? It's totally new to me. And so so that is on Saturday too. So I'll be out of my comfort zone again, and with my team, but I'll embrace it, and I just want to have some fun, so looking forward to it. But okay, so let's go with the Sweet 16 that we got coming up.
Listen
look at my face.
I'm like, 2 things. On the women's side, these chicks are freaking killing it.
Balling.
Okay. Villanova, Iowa. What the heck?
Ole Miss, the number 1 seed. Stanford. This will be the first year in 16 years that Stanford won't be in the Sweet 16.
Ain't that crazy?
You knock off a Hall of Fame coach. Yeah. Right. So I'm rooting. So of course, I'm really hoping that South Carolina repeats, right? Yeah. Hands down. you know,
Me too.
because I have the utmost respect for Dawn Staley, what she has built in her program, what she stands for. I think the two biggest flexes that she's done that I think is absolutely freaking amazing was when she fought for her contract to get equal pay, equal to what the men are getting paid. She was like, no, I'm producing better than what he's producing. So why can't I get paid what he's getting paid?
Championships.
I'm producing championships. We're winning the SEC tournaments, or we're going to the SEC. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't even making the tournament, right? And so how do you get paid all this money and you want to pay me pennies? No. No.
Listen.
Right. And then I think the second flex that she did that I think is freaking amazing. And this is what you just reminded me of when you were just talking about all the people that you had as mentors. After she won her championship, she sent every Black female coach
a piece of her net.
Sis.
Yep.
Sis.
And it started because Carolyn Peck.
Carolyn Peck did it for her.
Did it for her.
Yes.
When Carolyn Peck became the first Black female to win a championship when she was at Purdue, and she gave it to Dawn Staley, and Dawn Staley kept it and then gave it to every Black female coach in the country. In the country.
Like
not just Division II.
Like, you know how much time it had to take. She would have had to hire, she probably had to hire somebody to, number one, do the research of all the Black, get their addresses, write them a personal letter.
She literally had a card printed.
Yes.
With a word of encouragement, her photo, signed it. So I want to talk, we hear, like, I feel like women's empowerment has become more of a cliche than it is an actual movement. And it has become watered down, disrespected, because we don't really all the time respect it ourselves. And so when you see things like that in action, that is true women's empowerment.
Absolutely.
And then you see her paying homage to someone like Vivian C. Stringer, wearing
when she wore that Cheney jersey. Oh my God. And what that represented, the first HBCU to ever make it to a final, to the tournament period.
They won.
And they made it to the Final Four. They lost in the Final Four, right?
Yep.
But still amazing.
And I think what it does, it's also a conversation starter, right? Because people start to search, just like when Farley Dickinson won, right? Everybody was on Google,
like, who the heck is he?
Where is Farley Dickinson University?
Right. Like, what is it? Who is it? And where did? Because I had no idea. We was like, do who? For who? For the who? I think I had that conversation with somebody. I said, y'all, let me tell you something. I am 50, getting ready to be 53 years old. And I have been a basketball fan since I've been in high school. Watching March, I have never missed a March Madness, except for when they didn't have it for COVID, right? Mm-hmm. I said, and so when I tell you I ain't never, ever heard of Fairleigh Dickinson. Like, you would think that, it would come up out of some type of conversation or something in the news or something.
Yep. I feel like when she but when she wore that jersey, people were like, what is Cheney?
What is Cheney? Right. And again, it was a conversation starter. So now everybody's looking it up and they're they're getting an
and it becomes a point of education, right?
Even because I didn't know. I think I just learned that information.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because you grew up in the HBCU community, so you're going to be privy to that type of information, right?
But
I did not, and so I just learned that recently.
I knew that just because Stringer is one of my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
I remember watching her when I was a little girl. And so, but I also vividly remember Dawn Staley. I used to watch Dawn Staley. She was my favorite player.
I still remember her busting Tennessee, because I think at that time was when, Pat Summitt and Tennessee was the team. And I ain't gonna lie, I was a Tennessee fan at that time because I didn't know no better, right? Because they were balling. And I just sat there and watched, I think it was 2 years straight. Dawn Staley took it to Tennessee. But
you know why you don't know about Vivian Stringer? You know why? You know why you don't know any better than to cheer for Tennessee? It's because the media is not allowing space for Black voices.
Right. I mean, that was the whole purpose of why we even started our podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they will tell you, oh, diverse voices. We love diversity. We're going to tell, black this and Black that. But where show me your love for us through not just putting something out there during Black History Month or celebrating this HBCU that you just learned about, right? Why don't you create more space for us? And that's why I love HBCU League Pass Plus and Urban Edge Network, because they have created that space. So we didn't have a seat at the table, but now we get to create our own table. We got to build our own table. Now we're building chairs for other people to pull up at, right? So you didn't have the space for us. The space was created for us, by us. And so that's why when in my position, I feel that level of responsibility, because I know they're not going to get this information anywhere else. I have a responsibility to tell the stories that go unheard, because for too long we've been silenced and shut up. Not because we didn't have anything to say, not because we weren't accomplishing stuff, but because the media said, dear Black people, we're going to put you on our channel and on our station. Here is $500,000 to make you feel better. Meanwhile, we're going to go over here and give them $5 million. $5.5 million to broadcast they losing teams.
Right.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And that's facts, right? So I knew about Vivian Stringer because again, I've been following her for a long time, but I don't know how I missed the whole story about them making the HBCU making the Final Four. I knew she coached at Cheyney, but I didn't know the whole story. I don't know how I missed. Again, didn't know how I missed it because I started following her when she was at Iowa, right? Mm-hmm. And so and then I sit back now and I think about all the missed opportunities I've had, because Rutgers, I think, plays Cincinnati. Aren't they both? I think they were both at one time in the Big East at one time. Mm-hmm. And I could have gone and met her in person easily a couple times, and I'm so heartbroken that she's not one of my favorite people that I have never met in person. So when I'm glad that I'm in the live in the SEC, because Dawn has to come up here at least once a year. And I was so fortunate to, when I did go to one of the, I've gone to several games, but one of the games, Carolyn Peck was one of the broadcasters. So I was able to meet Carolyn Peck and Dawn
Staley.
Yeah, and get pictures with them. And I was very intentional with being able to do that, because both of them are just, such huge mentors for me.
Mm-hmm.
and they're both just great role models. Just the things that they've done, you know. And then even with Carolyn Peck, you know, I work with Ukari Figs, who was the point guard for Purdue. You know, she's from right here in Georgetown,
right.
and works at Toyota. You know, and so it's just you know, and they're always pushing how she was, you know, the national champion and how she played in the WNBA and stuff like that, because it just doesn't, you know, it just doesn't happen that, you know, that very often here, you know. And so, matter of fact, I think we got the Hall of Fame coming up. I think I might suggest for her to be a guest speaker one year. I think we're getting ready to establish that. So anyway, so speaking of Hall of Fame, Monday is the announcement for.
I know, I saw it. I can't wait.
Can't.
Is your press conference going to be broadcast live, or?
Yeah.
Are y'all going to put it on your Facebook page?
It should be on the Layshoff page live. Okay. It should be.
Okay.
It should be. It should be live. If not, somebody will share it, and I'll definitely be forwarded it on my page on my, because it's at 10, I think. And see, I don't go to break until 10:30. So, well, it should still be going on at 10:30. But as soon as I go to break, I'll be looking for it and seeing if it's live, and hopefully I'll be able to share it then. If not, you know, everybody can catch the replay when I do get a chance to share it. But yeah, just, you know, this whole sports community thing is just such a blessing. Again, I can never emphasize the fact that sports saved my life. You know, and I just love, you know, the spaces that I'm in. I'm just so super proud of you. You know, your little bounce back and
child, this was more
absolutely than just freaking killing it right now.
This was more than a bounce back. I don't know what to call it.
Don't call it a comeback, baby.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. But
don't call it a comeback, baby. Yes.
So something special happened today, and I have to share this. And I don't know if my dad is watching, or if he'll maybe he'll catch the replay. But so like my days are often like jam packed with meetings, and so I typically wake up between 5 and 6, and I spend like the first hour and a half, 2 hours when I wake up in my room, quiet, and I am doing my stretching, and you know, still, you know, I still wake up and I've got, you know, still kind of a bad left hip that I'm, you know, trying to, you know, just still trying to work out some of the stuff from what happened. And so I spend that time in my room with my Nike app or my stretch app or whatever, and I'll stretch and I'll, you know, pray, and I'll read my Bible or do like the listening, Bible on, I say on tape. It ain't on tape.
It ain't on tape, but you know,
it ain't on tape. You know what I'm saying.
But that is old school. That's how, right? That's how it was back in the day. It was on tape, right?
Bible on tape, right? And then I'll also spend some time. I've done some memory exercises because for a while I really struggled with memory loss, and so I take time each morning and I will read through notes. If there was a meeting that there's a follow-up for it, I read the notes, or I'll go back online and I'll watch our Zoom calls. So I'm, you know, I do all of that. That's all part of my like morning routine. And sometimes if I have enough time, I may lay back in bed. I may try to catch a few.
I can't wait to sleep in on Friday.
Listen. And so I got up this morning, I did all of that, and then came downstairs, started my meetings, you know. And so in one of my meetings, I finished the Zoom call. It was a production meeting for our last 2 championships, track and baseball. And so I love the space that I'm in. And I feel like it has really been a catalyst for my healing.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Like I, in ways that I can't even really explain, but it has, and I'm so grateful to God for that. And so I finished the call, and my dad had first of all, he made me eggs with toast, and because he was in the kitchen, he was cooking, and I turned around. First of all, I saw him cutting up the vegetables, so I knew he was about to cook something. And I'm smelling the vegetables, and then I turn around and I look, I see some eggs there. I said, "Oh, he about to scramble some eggs with some vegetables." And I turn around, meeting's about to start. I was like, "Dad, can you make me a few eggs too?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." So, he comes over, and, I got my little breakfast and with my coffee and everything. Call ends, and he's just walking past, and he was like, "I see you, woman. I see you. I see you working. You definitely in your element, and I love it." And I was like,
Yes.
yeah. And so, and then the actually second thing that happened, I was doing a one-on-one with one of my interns, and my dad was like, "Is that that's one of your kids?" I said, "Yeah." And so I told him to come over, introduced him to my one intern, Kaz. And I said, "Kaz, this is my dad. Dad, this is Kaz. She's an intern. She's at Suno." And he was like, "Keep up the great work." He was like, "I just love y'all." And she was like, "Oh," she was just so happy. And you could see that it really lifted her spirits. She was actually on the basketball team, and she tore her ACL.
Ooh.
In one of the games, but she's been working really hard, and using the time off of the court to work even harder with the internship. And so I'm just really proud of her. But to have my dad say that to her as well, she was just like, that was, that really made her day.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so just I think about stuff like that, and I'm like, I really am in my element. I really am. And it just feels so good. It feels so good. So yeah. I don't know why I said that. I think we were talking about inspiration, and it just reminded me of Dawn Staley paying homage. And I feel like a lot of times I do work, and I do always, in the back of my mind, I think about, I want to make my parents proud.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want them
You always want them to be proud.
Yeah.
They did a great job. And sometimes, I mean, even me as a parent, oh my God, both of my kids are freaking amazing, and you still question yourself about whether or not you did a great job.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I can tell you for sure, I done met both your babies, and you are an amazing mom, wife, coach, all of that. So
thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
I celebrate you on this. We got one more show in Women's History Month, so I'm gonna celebrate you.
We celebrate you. Don't call it a comeback.
Hey, I've been here for years. My life with something new. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely feels like a comeback, but it's a comeback from something that I was doing before. But I think when you have the right leadership, you have the right relationships, you have the right everything that God has orchestrated, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And just simply walk in that obedience. I did not know what to do, right?
Mhm.
But everything was just a yes. You know, whatever God told me to do last year, I was just like, okay, yes. And some of the stuff was really, really uncomfortable, but it was just like, I'm going to do it. And so this year I have made a commitment to tell myself yes more. So
A lot of times you have to give yourself permission. Sometimes you got to give yourself permission to be great,
that part, you sure do.
right? I think sometimes we get caught up in what people think.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's not as far as I'm worried about their opinion. Sometimes you you dim your own light because you don't want other people to see your shine. And sometimes your light is just so bright that it blinds people.
Yep.
And sometimes that blinding for them could be the inspiration that they need to get them to the next level. And I think sometimes, I know I'm talking for myself on that one. I know sometimes I totally just downplay the accolades and the stuff that we do because I don't want to want other people to feel bad when they're not doing that or they're not
Yeah.
on that level or whatever like that. But at the same time, it's not about bragging or boasting or anything like that. It's about inspiring.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's about inspiring. And there's nothing more that I want more than inspiring more women to want to coach football.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because the NFL is opening up doors for us for that, right? And right now
Mhm.
they're opening up the door is open, but there's nobody to walk through the doors, or we're limited to the amount of people that walk through the doors. They got way more um, doors than we got people that can walk through them. It's only a handful of women that can actually walk into those positions, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Because it's
And
it's hard enough for black men to get those positions, so let alone for women, black or white, to get them.
mhm.
So
And not only that, but and sometimes I have to get off of social media because you'll see that a woman has been hired as a coach or she's the first, like the Eagles coach.
yeah,
Um,
Colette.
yeah, Colette. I don't know why I can't remember her name, but seeing some of the comments like, "Oh, she's just there to fill a number or a quota,"
Oh my
or
God, when
what is she? What does she
yes,
actually do? Oh,
but
look at
she don't
her,
have no credentials. Oh my
no
God, so when
credentials, and she's doing footwork drills, and it's like, oh,
Lori
she's
Lopez got
really
the
not, she's not doing anything because she's doing footwork. And it's like, y'all don't understand how much footwork comes into every single sport, from soccer to tennis to football to basketball,
yeah, it's just.
baseball.
But what I
Footwork.
learned is that those are insecure men
Oh yeah.
that are mad because they desire to be in those positions and they don't have the talent or the connections to be able to do it. Because when Lori came to I said came when Lori went to the Titans, and I messed up and got into the caught up in the comments, and a guy was like, well, I was, they was like, well, how did she get this job? Or who? I was like, because she's got the credentials. She doesn't have any credentials. I said, she's got just as many credentials as anybody else. I said, she
Right.
played as a player, and she came up the ranks like most of the other most of the other coaches did. She put in her time and did what she needed to do.
Right.
And so, but you're talking about pissed me off. Oh my God. I mean, it just took all of me to not just keep, engaging in it. And all I
Right.
did was like typical. I said typical. What I said? Oh, I said typical chauvinist hater. And
Yeah.
I don't think he responded anything after that. I said typical, typical.
Absolutely.
I said, just a chauvinist, and you just a big old hater. You mad because you don't have the credentials to be able to get on that level, and a woman beat you out.
Exactly.
Right. But I also noticed that most of the critics on social media, that's the downfall of social media too, is, people can hide behind, the whole facade or whatever, not post any pics and not have any personal information on there, so you can't look them up and find out who they really, really, truly are.
Right.
And then they can just be bullies and
because they use
tyrants
it to start
and stuff.
stuff.
Yeah. Just to keep, but there's no accountability because you can't,
right.
You can't downfall. Because I know that there was even on my job, I think somebody made a comment that was racial. And somebody screenshotted it and put it in the chat and sent it to HR, and he got fired. Right. And then there was another girl here. I forgot who she worked for, but she was like just going off or whatever. And what people did was they tagged her, found out where the heck she worked at, tagged her job, and he's like, these are the people that you got working for. This is the type of person that you got working for you, representing your company. Fired. So that's what they do. They hide behind it so that they aren't held to that type of accountability where they'll lose their job, or where people is coming at them, and putting them in their place. So, but that's social media, child. And right now we cannot live without freaking social media, because it is everything now.
Yeah,
it's everything.
It is.
If you're in any type of social setting, having your brand and all that stuff is just absolutely important right now. So anyway, girl, we done knocked out this hour.
We did.
Glad you're back.
To be here again.
Glad you made it back.
Man. Yep. It's been fun. I'm grateful. Glad to be back on the show, though. So, well,
how many more days? How many more days? We gotta go back to New Orleans
this Sunday. Yeah, this Sunday.
All right. Well, who you got coming? Sweet 16. So who you got in the Elite Eight for men?
Oh my gosh, for the men, listen, I'm trying to think of who's in the Sweet 16, because we had.
Girl, you know me, when Kentucky lost to Kansas State. Now, mind you, Kansas State was ranked 3 and Kentucky was ranked 6. So technically they were supposed to lose, but they shouldn't have lost that game. Again, you got a 5'8" point guard going up against a 6'4" guard.
6'4".
And you mean to tell me he couldn't post him up not one time?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Or shoot over him one time? I didn't understand that.
He was not going at him at all.
At all.
It was crazy. I was like, how do you not make that adjustment?
Like, how do you not make that adjustment?
It's crazy.
At the end, he hit you for 27 points. Most of it, he was putting the ball on the floor. So why didn't you go to a zone? Why didn't you go to a zone?
They were killing them.
And that's the reason why people always want Calipari's head every year, because they're like, he cannot freaking coach. If the game is on the line and it's close, girl, that it's a crapshoot whether or not Kentucky's gonna pull that game off. It ain't gonna be because of coaching.
It ain't gonna be pretty.
It's because them kids made a decision that they want to win. And look, I'm gonna take over give me the ball. But we haven't had those type of kids.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had any that were, that have that dog in them that are like,
right,
just give me the ball.
So here are my picks. I got Kansas State, UConn. I'm really tempted to pick Florida Atlantic over Tennessee.
What?
Yeah.
Tennessee's
like that would be my upset pick.
Your upset pick, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Zags over UCLA. That's a 2-3 matchup. Ain't no difference between them two teams. 2-3.
That wouldn't even be won the regular season matchup, you know?
I can't remember.
Aren't they both in the Pac-12? I know they're both on the West Coast, so I just assume that they're in the same conference.
I thought
they're in the Western Atlantic Conference.
Yeah, I thought Zags was in a different.
They might be in the WAC.
I think they're in the WAC.
I think they're in the WAC. Yeah.
I'm going to take Alabama. But I'm concerned about which Alabama's gonna show up. Because that last game was real sketchy to me. I'm gonna take Houston, Princeton and Creighton. Man,
a crapshoot.
It is. Even though Princeton is a 15 seed, I think that I don't know how well they were seeded. I don't feel like they're a 15 seed. But I am gonna take Creighton. I'm going to take Xavier over Texas just because I want to. Just because I ain't got nothing better to do.
Right.
Taking Xavier over Texas. But again, that's another 2-3 matchup. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
So those are my pick for the men.
Yeah, I got Kansas State over Michigan State. I like Arkansas. I think I like Arkansas over UConn. I think that's my upset one.
Yeah.
Gonzaga. The Gonzaga UCLA is up in the air. But wasn't Gonzaga like number one most of the time in the beginning of the season? Was that Gonzaga that was they were like the number one seed in the beginning of the season?
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah.
What's really sad is I really had no.
Well, you've been so busy that you haven't really been able to follow, and I haven't either. I haven't either. I do got Tennessee over Florida Atlantic. I do got Alabama over San Diego State. I do got Houston over Miami, Creighton over Princeton, Texas over Xavier. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, what's the women's bracket look like? I haven't looked at the women's bracket. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Let me go back to the women's bracket because I did have it pulled up, but oops.
Oh my God, that Colorado game the other night against Duke was so good.
That was wild.
You know, I love me some Carol Lawson. You know, because she played at she played at Tennessee, but she was also a broadcaster, and I love her. And so I hate that she took that L, but I'm rooting for Colorado. Even though Iowa is a beast, I ain't gonna lie. That what's her name? She's killing it over there. I do got LSU over Utah. I guess Villanova over Miami. Louisville and Texas. That one right there, because Louisville, let me tell you something. That's another dude I need to go meet Coach Blair. Because he's been to what? He always manages to have Louisville.
You mean Coach Walls?
I mean, yeah, Coach Walls. I'm sorry, Coach Walls. I'm thinking Coach Blair was the coach a couple years ago in Texas A&M. But Coach Walls at Louisville always manages to have them girls ready by tournament time.
Yep, sure does.
Because he's been to 2 Final Fours, 2 championship games.
Yeah.
He's been to 2 championship games.
Yep. The way they came back and beat the dust off of the girls, I was like, okay, so y'all beat them like they stole something and cussed your mama out. It was a pure, just all around beat down in the second half. And I was just like, wow. But yeah, I have them beating Ole Miss. But I would not be upset. And you know I love Louisville.
I
But
love,
I love my
yeah,
Cowboys. But
you
I
know,
wouldn't be
but I'm
upset if
going, but that was my point, right? I love him, but I'm going for
Mhm.
Ole Miss. I'm rooting for her.
Yeah.
I'm
Um
rooting for her.
I also have Notre Dame over Maryland. I love Notre
Yeah,
Dame's coach. I think
I
she's awesome.
love her.
Um, South Carolina over UCLA. I don't think that UCLA is going to be able to match up with
Not at
uh,
all.
yeah with Carolina's speed. South
And
Carolina,
their and their and their
and
um
size.
their size.
Yep.
Yes.
And then I have UConn over Ohio State. I love Ohio State's team. I love the way that they're playing. I just again, they're one of the teams that it's like which Ohio State is going to show up.
Yeah.
Um, and so if UConn comes out and plays like they've been playing,
They should win, right? Plus
they're
they got Fudd back.
mhm.
AZ. Is her name?
So
What's her name? AZ. They got she's
AZ,
back. Yeah.
yeah. So I think that and UConn is playing some real inspired basketball.
Yeah.
They're playing better than I saw them play in their championship tournament. And so I think that they're just going to be hard. They're going to be really hard to beat.
Yeah. I
They're going
think LSU is going to beat Utah, even though Utah's a number 2 seed, because I think it's the same thing. I think it's kind of like football. When you're playing in the SEC and you're LSU and you have to go up against UConn and I
to.
mean
Hmm.
I mean against South Carolina and you got to go up against Tennessee and you know what I mean. You got to go against Ole Miss and Kentucky.
Right.
Even though Kentucky was down, they're still a formidable opponent.
Yeah.
Um, it just sets you up. It sets you up, and it prepares you. I'm not sure about the Miami Villanova. I'm just assuming Villanova will win that one.
I
Um,
think Villanova is going to beat the
the
brakes off
the
of them.
breaks off of Miami, yeah, and I um again I think Tennessee can beat Virginia Tech, right? I just think that Tennessee is playing inspired ball as well.
Hmm.
I think that they're just on the come up of putting the Tennessee legacy back on the map. Um,
Yeah.
you still can't beat Dawn.
Right. That part.
You still ain't gonna be able to beat Dawn, but you'll put up a big fight, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. So I'm gonna miss most of these games. Oh no, Friday I'll be able to catch the Ole Miss Louisville and the Colorado game.
Hmm.
Saturday I'll miss the UConn game. Oh, I'll be able to catch the Friday all the Friday games. But Saturday at 2 o'clock, we are. I'll miss the number one game I want to watch is the South Carolina game. I'll miss that. We'll be in the middle of our scrimmage, so I'll miss that. I might have to, and I try to record them so I can go back and watch them. But once I know the score, I don't even want to go back and watch it.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be nice to see, outside of South Carolina. It'll be nice to see just some new names come up in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, that's why I've liked the men's tournament and
Yeah,
even the
because
women's
all the
tournament.
big
See
four
those
are
top
out.
seeds being
The
knocked
top
off.
four are out. Kentucky's
Yeah.
out, Duke's out, North Carolina's out, and Kansas are out.
Yeah, and I know that there's this big deal about the women's bracket. The seedings need to be overhauled, and ESPN had this article up today, and I didn't. Honestly, I saw it. I started reading some of it, but I think that if every single year the top seeds always make it, that's boring,
That's boring. And that's how it's
and it
been for the
shouldn't be
women.
that way
And there's
anyway.
very seldom in the women's tournament major upsets.
Right.
The people that are supposed to win usually win.
Yep. So to me, it's exciting, and I think that it offers more opportunities for people to see teams that they normally wouldn't see.
Yeah, definitely. All right, girl, let's get off here.
All right, boo. All right, y'all. Y'all know what to do. Follow us on social media. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Hits and Heels. Head to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. YouTube.com/the@ Hits and Heels. Okay. Subscribe. Comment on our shows. Most of you are on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook world. But make sure that you follow us on those other platforms as well, so you can go back and watch the live videos. Watch the replays of our live shows. All right, because Facebook is tripping. They don't, they be taking stuff down and all this other stuff. So we don't trust it like that. But make sure you hit us up on YouTube as well. Help us get some ads running on this page so we can make some coin for this show. All right. And then, let us know if you know somebody that wants to be a guest. If you are someone that wants to be a guest, make sure you hit us up. hello@hitsandheels.com is the email address. And I think that's it. That's all I got. Love y'all. See y'all next week. Same time, same bad channel. We out.